Hello, my name's Daniel Harris, and I'm leading the Kendraio project. And we're here today with Nikola, Donald, and Luke, and we're going to talk about how we integrated Kendraio App with Freecords. And I'll just say a little bit about Kendraio App. It's a no-code, local first, highly configurable interface builder. And Freecords is run by Nikola. And Nikola, would you give us a few words about Freecords? What are you doing with Freecords?
Of course. Thanks, Daniel. I'm Nikola. And as Daniel said, I run Freecords. Basically, what Freecords is, we're a music platform, first of all, a one-stop shop that enables artists to start their careers. And basically, what our vision is for anybody to be able to succeed in music regardless of their connections, background, and anything else, just to basically enable great music to find its way to listeners. And on this path, we're giving artists the opportunity to distribute their music to 100 plus platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, etc., completely free, and they retain 100% of their royalties. Well, Daniel is one of such artists as well. And basically, what this eliminates is a barrier for anybody to enter, because otherwise they'd either have to pay in cash or a cut of their royalties. We don't want anybody to pay for this. It's a very basic service, and it's like, why wouldn't you want to have your music everywhere? And there is no reason to pay for that. And for Freecords, because we're a music platform, we have our own streaming. It's a good way for us to be able to get artists into the ecosystem without having to advertise other aspects. But this is a service we offer as basically an add-on, and nobody else is kind of doing that. So we're the only ones who provide free music distribution and are a music platform on top of that. So yeah, that's basically an intro. And what we've done with Kendra is Kendra enables us to create well, basically it's a part of our supply chain, enables us to supply the music to all other platforms through standardized industry formats.
Cool. Thank you very much for that explanation. And yeah, I'd like to just quickly show how I, as an artist, have used Freecords, just so give a bit of context for other artists out there. So I'll just share my screen and show you what I've been up to and how I use Freecords. So this is my Freecords admin panel, and here's my profile. Here's my 4 songs on Freecords, and I can look at the stats of how many times my song has been played. So that's my stats there of um, uh, one of my songs, and if I can look at other songs as well, not so many plays, and up just right at the end. Um, and what else? Okay, all right, you can give you actually quite detailed stats um there for, and I suppose at some point I might start earning some money, Nicola.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
that's
the last earnings we have are from March, I think. So
okay.
you'll be getting March soon enough. Yeah. Also,
Awesome.
we have you can show perhaps discovery, and that's how people can discover music as well in the app.
Right. Okay. Here. How do I do that? Detailed search. I can look
Yeah,
at
or,
different.
or random. Yeah, you have
Right.
random, or you have you can do the detailed. This is still like, let's say, an MVP. We're working on a much
Yeah.
more comprehensive version right now.
So could you explain a little bit more about how did you find us and what was the problem?
Yeah, so when we as a music distributor, let's say, want to deliver our music to Spotify or to Apple Music or basically any partner, if they're a platform or a middleman, let's say a label, we need to use something that's called DDEX. That's an industry-wide standard which states how music should be delivered, and it's if you ask me, it's quite an, let's say, old-fashioned standard, and there are many more modern ways in which this could have been solved, but I don't know. I guess there must be some reason that everyone is using this DDEX, and there are not many providers out there. So you either can do an in-house solution and have your metadata and your files formatted specifically for DDEX. But we, as a small startup, just have limited resources in every way, time and money. So for us, it just complex to extend our tech stack to include this type of delivery. So we've decided to search for external providers, and as I said, many of them charge upwards of thousands of dollars per month, euros, whatever currency to use this service. And then I came across Kendra somewhere in deep hands of Google, and then I reached out. Actually, I think I don't know. I reached out through somebody on LinkedIn who was involved with you guys previously, but not anymore. And then they connected me with Daniel, and then they asked, "Hey, what are you doing? What's the end goal here? How can we help?" And then they basically scoped the project, so saw what they can do, and decided, "Hey, we can help you. This is something we do. We don't charge any money for this. We do this because we want to be seen in the industry. We want to be seen by as many people as possible. We want to help companies like you, startups who are doing something for the artists." And that's how we came together.
Yeah, you actually reached out to Darren Motherseal, who was the original developer of Kendraio App that we're currently using. And um, I think he must have written an article that was about DDEX, and that's why you reached out to him. And then he passed your details on to us, and then we started talking about it. But yeah, we've been involved with DDEX for quite a number of years because it is such a standard in the music industry for digital rights and music rights and release recordings and uh, basically, yeah, any kind of distribution information. So uh, we've been working, yeah, with DDEX for many years and trying to build tools for record labels, yeah, to make it easier for them to work with DDEX. And yeah, we're why we're free is because we're non-profit, we're open source, and we're non-revenue seeking project. So that's how we operate. Yeah, we want to find collaborators in the music industry that we can build tools with. So that's why we're doing this. Yeah. Could you describe, yeah, in more sort of maybe even a slightly technical detail what you needed, and then yeah, then we'll show you what we've built.
So basically, because our data is within Freecords app, our database, and yeah, so everything is stored within our both our CDN, which is used for files, cover arts, and audio.
Mhm.
We also store metadata in the database. So basically, we needed a way to provide this to Kendra, and they asked for our API, and we enabled API access for basically everything within the app. It's we haven't provided our API access to anybody else because we first of all we wouldn't want to expose it publicly yet, and this was done just one
Yeah.
for Kendra exclusively. and then they, from what I understand, the data is then taken from Freecords, converted into or added to Kendra, and then it can be exported to DDEX. We still have to provide the audio files, as I understand, and the cover art, but the rest is operational from what I could see, or from the progress that you guys discussed over Slack. So yeah.
Just to be clear, what we're doing, as I understand it, and Donald and Luke will correct me if I'm wrong, please. We take your metadata from your database and your files from your file repo, the song files and the image files, and we when I say we, actually it's not us, it's actually whoever's running the app, because it's actually a locally running app that is doing all of this. So we're actually building this app for you, Nicola, to do it yourself. So it won't actually, Kendraio won't actually be involved in this process. But in order to demo this to you, we've had to create the idea of a distributor that we're sending this information to. So we take that metadata, we convert it into DDEX, and we then supply that plus the metadata plus the images and the video and the song files to an S3 bucket or an S3 compatible bucket, which is actually Backblaze at the moment.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, and so what's different about this is hi, I'm Luke Stanley. I'm a developer at Kendraio. And what's different about this flow from usual is there isn't some intermediate backend server that we're using. We're trying to make it so that it's possible to empower people that aren't technical to be able to develop things in a low-code environment. And right now, our application is running in the browser. So what we're doing is allowing the input of files and the processing of files to happen on the user's own device, currently within their browser, and then it passes them off. So there's less risk with other intermediaries, and there's no complicated extra backend or database setup that we're doing. We're just accessing it and we're processing it to conform it to the particular DDEX standards that are required for the supplier, which we will later be able to switch to away from our file bucket that we're using for testing.
Yeah. So why don't we do a demo?
Hello, I'm Donald. I build things with the Kendraio app, and I see what changes need to be made, what we're capable of doing, and what we need to become capable of doing. So I've been putting together this Freecords flow, as we call them, workflow to achieve the task that Nikola is after. So open here, I have our app, and this is the workflow here. What we're showing here is data that we fetched from the Freecords API. Each line here is one song, and here is our Backblaze bucket with nothing of significance in it. So we're just going to do one for the time being. So we'll just pick this one record, and then we pop down here to add to Backblaze, and we'll look at what happens in the network tab. This is the call that is fetching the metadata using the ISRC, and then our app formats that as a DDEX record, and here we go. This is it formatted here, and it's now putting that into Backblaze, so that'll be there now. The next thing is it gets the image file and puts the image file into Backblaze. That's the encoded image there. And then finally, we get the audio and we put the audio. And now we'll go across to Backblaze and, oh, did it complete? Yes, it did. We'll go across to Backblaze and look at it there. All right, so here we are. This is the UPC number for that release. That's the folder. Inside the folder, we've got the DDEX metadata there, also with the UPC number. And we've got an image file and audio file with the ISRC numbers there. But if we didn't want to go and verify there, we can also click verify here. So far, it only tells us about the audio file, but we've got a response 200, which says it's there. So that's how it works with one.
Could I ask you to just open up the cog and show that this is a locally running app for you, and just really what I want to show is like this is a no-code app. So this is built using a number of action blocks, and you can see maybe if you click on the form block there, you can see that actually that is something that is creating the actually is creating, sorry, I meant the grid. I meant the grid block. Yeah, if you open up the grid block, it will basically, that is representing the grid on the left-hand side, and yeah, there it is. And so we create the app using tools that a non-developer can work with. That's the idea behind this. And so our aim, Nikola, is to actually give you an app that you'll be able to edit and modify yourself and run locally yourself, and you won't need us at all, which is our aim.
So to make this work, to access the files for this particular release that's been selected by Donald, the way that we get the individual files is from a file storage bucket. I think in this case, it's probably hosted by DigitalOcean, but the standard that is used for hosting these files was made by Amazon for their popular S3 file service. And this has been picked up as a standard by many other providers, and it's conformed to for the purpose of transferring files with all kinds of different systems. And in our case, because we're trying to make it so the user has control of everything as directly as possible, we've translated it so that we're using a browser-based client that can speak the authentication language that is needed for these S3 style file storage buckets. And so when we do a GET request, it's doing it along with credentials that we've put in that are secret and they're sensitive. And they're used to access privately owned proprietary music data and so on. So we make sure that that only stays in the right place. And as part of the protocol that was defined by Amazon for S3, it's having to sign its requests in a way that does hashing and so on to cryptographically secure it. And so, yeah, we have that for getting the request, like an audio file or the image. And then Donald is showing that we're doing a put request of that as binary data, in this case, to our own test bucket. And that also is signed so that the system knows cryptographically that we absolutely have the right to be able to do that in a way that's verifiable by the system. And we're doing that without having to have all the systems in the way. And we've tried to make it so that we can do that in a simple way where the configuration required to be able to authenticate ourselves is out the way as much as possible. So it's much like just doing a normal web request.
This is a locally running app. It's accessing metadata from a database. It's accessing files from a S3 bucket and putting them into another S3 bucket. And everything is password protected. So there's none of this is available publicly anywhere. Is that's basically what's going on here, right?
Yeah, this is really amazing. It might seem, because we're recording this, that I've seen this already and tried it, but I haven't, and we've only discussed the specs, and this is done like exactly according to what we need. So it's really great, and it works well, exactly as it should. It has a batch, and then everything is the files, the XML, which is the actual DDEX, and the audio and the cover art are put there exactly as it should be put. So yeah, great work, guys. Like, for me, this is exactly what we need.
Good to hear. Donald, do you want to carry on a little bit more, and then yeah, we'll see what we can do next. You can maybe take away the cog.
Well, all there is left to show really is what happens when we try and do lots of files at once. So shall I do the full 17?
Why not?
Or should we do let's do the whole lot and see how we do.
There is a select all button.
It doesn't work. If you select all, you get all
Good to know.
100. You get all 100, including
nice.
a whole bunch that don't have an ISRC.
Okay,
we only deal with the ISRC numbers.
That's a little user interface thing we should work on.
That's for the next version. Okay.
The next version.
Yeah. Okay. So I've selected all of those now. This is going to take a small while.
Maybe then can we only select a few?
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because actually that did take a long time in the meeting when we did it before.
It did, yeah. What should we do? 5, 10?
5, yeah.
Okay.
Or whatever.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's
Okay. So add to Backblaze. And now it's going to do the same thing, but for 5 files, which is cool. 5 songs, rather. Yeah, we did find some of these audio files are very large. So selecting all 17, you end up with some that's sort of 100 megabytes, and it just takes a long time to demonstrate.
Yeah, because they are in the wave specific 44.1 kilohertz wave, 16-bit. So yeah, that's the standard usually required. Either that or FLAC, but wave preserves more of the.
All right. Well, here they all are. So that's performed everything that we wanted it to perform, I think. So we can now hit verify. And there we go. We see we've had 4 successes and 1 failure. So that's what we're working on at the moment, is how to catch these failures and then manually put them back on.
We actually have a system that Donald has been working on here to verify the status of each of the files and checking the presence of the file. And we also have some hash signature checks that are being done. And this means that we can verify that it is the exact thing that we intended to send up is actually there. And that the file size is what we expect, and so on. And this is important because when you're doing a batch process over a networked system, you want to make sure that everything's working correctly, because the more things you have going on, the more places there are for error to happen and accumulate. So we're working on making sure that we have a robust way of iterating through a batch and verifying that those files are there and they are correct.
when you were talking about the why it's good to verify the batch, it's for us it's great because we can know exactly which releases failed, especially as quantities grow. This is something that we've been struggling with within our own systems to report the errors properly and what exactly failed. This is something we're still struggling with. So it's a great thing to have it. And previously we just didn't know and we're guessing and apologizing to artists. Hey, your release failed for a technical reason. We don't know why, but can you re-upload, please? And then they re-upload, and then yeah, we used to handle this on like a case-to-case basis because we really try to provide well, individual tailored customer support to our artists. So yeah, and this is just great.
Sorry, Nicola, are you saying that you've had this problem before when uploading files that sometimes they didn't get through, or was it the artist getting the file to you? Which one was it?
So basically, well, I was referring to us getting the files to partners, but it can also be, well, we can see the reasons with server logs for the artists, and it's that's always because they upload. So we require either MP3, WAV, or FLAC, and then they upload the file that doesn't have an extension, which is an MP3 still, but it must have an extension so that we can recognize it and verify that it's indeed an MP3. And that's when they are like, hey, my file is an MP3 but it's failing to upload, and we tell them, yeah, it's because it doesn't have an extension and it needs an extension for the system to recognize it. But yeah, I was referring to us delivering to partners, and that's because we've had multiple partners previously, and then each of them has their own way of handling things. DDEX is reserved only for certain partners which work only with with, let's say, select labels. We weren't at this scale when we started. Now we're at the scale where we need DDEX, and basically that's the only thing that that can work for us as we continue scaling. So yeah, that's.
And so you did have situations where having a verification system would have really helped. Because I'm just really curious, like it's a real world problem you were having already when you were uploading things, that some of them were failing.
Yeah, exactly. It's a problem we still have because with one of the partners we have an API integration with. We provide all the information through the API, but because it's not, let's say, a single API call. It's like first we have to create the user. If it's not already created with them, then if then add the artist if the artist has not been added, and then add other artists if they haven't been added, then add the track separately, then add the release separately, and then add the track to the release, and then release the track to the available stores. So for example, the store has shut down, let's say yesterday, and then they put it disabled, but we're still delivering to the store, and then all the releases fail, and we didn't know because we thought, okay, they're gonna let us know beforehand, but they haven't. So then, let's say today we distributed 200 releases, all of them failed, and we didn't have a way to know that. Then we implemented a way to see that it's failing, but because it has so many steps, it's really hard to have a consistent error reporting for handling each error, and then have it reported in real time when it fails, and not later that it's too late to detect. So yeah, we're still struggling with this, and then this is a great way to just know instantly.
Wonderful, wonderful. I yeah, but didn't know that it was such a big problem, but obviously it really is. So that's really good to know. What do you want us to develop next, or what do you need next, or what should we?
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
what do we do next?
I think this is like exactly what we need. There might be some adjustments, and let's say I don't know the naming conventions they use for files, so that might have to change. Or but yeah, I don't know. Like everyone has different requirements for this.
Yeah, so as I understand it, at the moment, we're transforming the names of the files that we bring in, and then turn, as Donald showed, that they have the ISRC that becomes their name, and then they get pushed into the S3 bucket. That's what we're doing at the moment. So I'm sure we can, if there's a different convention, yeah, we can change what that formula looks like.
Yeah, this is for I think I sent you guys the tuned global requirements, and according to them, this is like what they need. But then we have like, I don't know, others have some different. So yeah, but this is for them. This is, I think, exactly how it should be.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed listening in to a little snippet of how Kendraio and Freecords are working together to build a distribution system using DDEX. We love collaborating with people in this way and building really difficult projects in using our no-code platform. And yeah, please, if you have a need or requirement in the music industry, we've also integrated with bands in town, and we're looking at music rights and other areas. So if you have an issue around gigs or other metadata, then please do get in touch with us about working together. And yeah, this is an exciting collaboration with Freecords and Nikola, and I look forward to seeing where it goes. Nikola, do you have any final words for this phase? I mean, we're going to be doing this again as we go forward with this project, so we'll be back.
I absolutely do have some words, because as a startup, especially in the music industry, it's very tough to, let's say, get to a scale where things that you do matter, because it's a very competitive space wherever you go. And then for us, this is really meaningful, because as I said, as a startup, you're already disadvantaged, and then you just struggle to find companies and who are willing to extend their friendly hand. And then Kendra was here to do this for free, which has saved us already tens of thousands of euros. And well, that kind of brings hope hope to humanity, and they're all great guys. So that's, we really appreciate it, and I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate you saying that. And it does actually just make me think that ultimately the kind of environment that we want to create is where everyone can build their own no-code apps and share them as a community, so that actually it wouldn't just be Kendraio creating these apps for other people, but it would be everyone creating these apps for each other. And it could be in loads of different sectors, not just the music sector. It could be the health sector or in food distribution, and we all need these kind of technological things. But generally speaking, yeah, they either cost a lot of money to build when you need to bring in service providers and developers and pay a lot of money, or yeah, it's just out of the reach of even starting a project like this. So yeah, it's a really nice collaboration we've got going. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. And as you said, that no code enables a lot of things to be built, and it doesn't limit access to tools, which is something that's great, and enables many people to do many different things, which is amazing. It should be like that, and I hope. Well, I don't hope. I'm certain it will come a long way. All of no code, and Kendra as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, keep checking back in with Freecords and Kendraio, and I'm sure there'll be another video coming out and some more information about DDEX.